Hello everybody, it is Nicole from iiKiui. Today we have another elemental, this time redrawing the element of giving. So let's not waste any time and hop right into the video. For this elemental, I wanted to take a bit of a different approach. Instead of making a human version of giving like I did last time, I wanted to show the act of giving. To do that, I chose to show a volunteer giving her time, energy, and love to shelter animals. Now, if you know me, you know that I absolutely love animals, and if I could, I would probably adopt every single one. You will probably also know from my opening scene that I love rabbits. 4 out of the 5 bunnies I've owned were rescued. I chose to show a volunteer at an animal shelter because I do some volunteer work at my local humane society. As much as I like to help out physically, I actually help out with the graphic design aspect by creating posters and flyers for their events. Since I can't physically go to the shelter to help out, I decided to draw it in hopes of promoting adopting rescue pets and volunteering your time to a good cause. For the drawing, I tried to show as many animals as I could. I think when people think of rescue pets, their minds automatically go to dogs and cats. But there are so many other animals available to rescue, like small pets or reptiles. Ultimately, I chose a dog, cat, bird, rabbit, guinea pig, leopard gecko, and hamster. I placed her in the center so she would be surrounded by the animals. I wanted to have all the animals in some sort of contact with her to show that they trusted her. It was a little tricky because in her pose, there was only so many surfaces for animals to sit on. Getting the proportions of the animals to each other and the character was challenging because as much as I love animals, I actually rarely draw them. I used a lot of reference photos for the dog since I don't really have any first-hand experience with them. I've only been able to interact with my friends' dogs. I really want a dog in the future, but the bunnies are kind of a handful right now. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a pet, and if you do, what's their backstory? For her outfit, I took inspiration from zookeeper outfits or something similar to a work outfit. I watched these shows called The Zoo and The Aquarium on Animal Planet, and I highly recommend them if you want to see a behind the scenes look at what keepers do to take care of the animals and help educate others on conservation. From the shows, I've learned interesting facts about animals that I thought I knew, and I actually discovered animals that I didn't even know existed. But I digress. The outfit was basically inspired by their outfits is what I was getting at. As for the color of her shirt, I chose orange because when I looked up the ribbon color for animal awareness, I got purple or orange. I ended up choosing orange because the color scheme was much more warm-toned and orange matched that a little bit better. As for her shoes, I'm actually really proud of them because as much as I love shoes, it's always been a little bit intimidating to draw. They look so simple, yet they seem so complicated, and I totally blame the laces. For her shoes, I just looked up work boots and front view so I could draw them in the pose that she's in. Speaking of references, I looked up a lot of animal pictures for this drawing. If you told me to draw these animals off the top of my head, I 100% assure you that they would not look like any of these, except the bunny. The bunny is based off my bunny, Bean, who I rescued almost a year ago. I also based the hamster after one I owned named Snowball. You might remember him from my videos. I did use reference to get the position correct But I based the colors off of Snowball because I think the typical hamster color is white and orange, but her shirt was orange, and the hamster would have blended right in. I was originally planning to base the guinea pig off of one I owned named P-chan, and points if you know where that reference is from, but she was mostly black and white, and I didn't want her to get lost in the drawing. Instead, I gave the colors of the guinea pig pattern that was most common in my Google search. On a side note though, I definitely want to own guinea pigs again in the future, but then again, I want to own a lot of animals in the future. I based the bird off of a sun parakeet, the reptiles off of leopard geckos, and I tried to randomize the dog and cat in an attempt to make them look like mixed breeds. The one thing that's difficult for me when rescuing animals is that you will never know their full past. When I got Bean, his papers said that he was found in a business parking lot around the end of May. Peanut and Sesame were found as babies with their mother, and my previous bunny, Tofu, was absolutely terrified by orange peels and the smell of oranges. Of course, even though we may never know their past, we can focus on giving them a better future. So let's go back to talking about the art. One painting, I started with the background. I knew I wanted a blue background because, 1, without something behind her, she looked very flat and kind of lonely, and 2, I knew her shirt would be orange, so I just used the complementary color to make her pop. It also helped to make the animals that were partly white pop from the page. I really liked how the blue turned out too, and I had a lot of fun with it. It really tested my watercolor skills, and I really enjoyed the process. The only thing I was a little upset about was her pants color. It turned out much more yellow than I wanted, but in the end, I think it still works with the overall image. I hope you all enjoyed watching me paint this elemental as much as I enjoyed creating it. I like seeing all the animals in one spot, so this was a fun piece. And also a piece that let me know I need to practice animals more. The next elemental is the redrawing of the element of love, and in that video, I'll have you guys vote on the elemental after that. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Keep drawing, keep creating, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!